Checking in with the Murray Netball Association now on the Friday Night Sports Show. And as per usual, Hannah Lolla joins me to give us all the results and the previews. How you going, Hannah? Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, great, Dan. Good to be with you here on this Friday.
Always good to have you here, and we've got a lot of games to get through, so let's get straight into it. There was some pretty good action on the weekend, a few blowout results, but let's start with the closest match of the round, which was the Southern Suns taking down Jervois 48-40.
Yeah, so Jervois obviously travelled well out to the Suns. Only a 8-goal margin in that one at the end. The previous time they'd met, it was 14 goals. So the result went the same way, but the margin tightened. Suns had Abby Keogh back, so she's been off overseas, having a nice 6-week holiday. So they were pleased to have her back on the court. And you won't be surprised that the best players for each side are the regular star performers. Liv Clark in defence did a fantastic job for the Suns. And Courtney Afford, their Jervois's ever-ready bunny in the middle, played a really good game, but not good enough to get them over the line. Yeah, so Suns.
Good win by the Suns, and Mannum took down Tailem Bend 53-32. Looked like a pretty cruisy win for Mannum.
Yeah, it was. I watched this game. It was, and I had to pick best players for Mannum. They asked me to do that, and it was a really hard task. They all over the court, they played really well. Their defensive end has, decades of experience in Tracy Dabnett and Kelly McGorman. Their young goal shooter, Phoebe Wegner, he played a really good game alongside their other goal shooter, Bridie Sims. So, yeah, good all-round effort. For Taylor, Mel Edwards was shooting well when she got the ball. But, yeah, they just struggled to get from that defence into the Tailem circle fast enough. So it was a bigger margin than the last time they met, which I think was what we predicted might happen last week.
Yeah, good win by Mannum there on their home courts. And we also had Maipalonga heading to the Ramblers netball courts and taking them down 62-39.
Yeah, so again, we thought that one a bigger margin than the last time they met, and it played out that way. Maipo's mid-quarters, Stacey Hine and Kelly Altman played fabulously, and they're getting their polish on as a team. But a really big shout out. Ramblers played a young gun, Portia Machete. Portia plays her juniors down in Adelaide now to get some experience, but had her A-grade debut for Ramblers. And made one of the best players. So she's a defensive player, really nice and tall and clean, and so great to see some youth coming through there. And yeah, big shout out to Ramblers for promoting youth as well.
Well done, Portia Machete, and I must say that's about one of the best names I've ever heard. She sounds like she belongs in an action movie, but she's getting it done on the netball court, so we love to see that. And in our last game of the round, the Imperials flexing their muscles on top of the ladder over the Mallee Storm, who are going along nicely themselves in fifth, and that one was with a final score of 59-31.
Yeah, so not dissimilar to the last time they met. What was really interesting about this game was Imps came out with a real intent and defensive pressure over the whole court from, the first centre pass. They got the first 3 goals, and by half-time they had their 18-goal lead. So it was sort of even the second half. So obviously Storm settled into their play. They had a bit more defensive pressure in the second bit of the match, but that first 2 quarters set it up for Imps to be able to sort of cruise, I guess, a little bit on the way home. For Imps, their goalie, Casey D. Michelle, played a fabulous game alongside Demi Daesh. And for the Storm, both ends of the court played well with Shaylin Paik in defence and then Abby in goal shooter. But, yeah, just not good enough to get there this time.
And it was the Coorong Cats with the bye in round 12, and they're back in action in round 13. So we'll start with their game, and it might be a decent chance for them to get another win on the board. They're taking on Tailem Bend at Tailem Bend, so certainly not an easy task, but both sitting in the bottom 4. So are the Cats any chance of getting a win in this one?
They may be hopeful. I'm not expecting it. Tailem will be hoping to at least make it a 20-goal difference. Cats might claw back a few goals on that from last time. But what will be special, so this round across the River Murray Netball is Indigenous round. It's that opportunity to really highlight the significant contribution Aboriginal people have made and sort of that, like there's so much cultural heritage and richness. And so the Tailem v Cats is a really special game from that aspect, and it's done really well with a smoking ceremony and people from Ralcan, and the community's getting around that. And the Cats have renamed themselves the Coorong Cats for this round. So maybe they might get a bit of a spring in their step, but I'm hoping Tailem will take that one.
All right, Indigenous round, so that's great to see. Now, is that taking place across all the games, or is that just for the Cats vs Bend game?
No, it is across all games, and it's a round that is emerging to be more significant with each game. Tailem v Cats used to be the showcase of Indigenous round, but a lot of other clubs are creating special ceremonies and heroing that as well. Lots of clubs have new colours and new bibs and new Guernseys for the football. So seeing the stories emerge of the artists they've chosen who have been local to design things, it's really special to be seeing all those connections that exist throughout that River Murray region.
It is. It's very special, and we've seen it at top-level sports in the AFL and the cricket and the netball, and it's great to see it trickling down now to the local levels as well. So that is great to see. And in our next game in Indigenous round, it will be the Mallee Storm looking to get back on the winners list when they take on the Ramblers.
Yeah, so they beat Ramblers last time by 7 goals. I would expect something similar, that 10 to 15 goal margin for the Storm. Storm they'll come out with some pretty special new bibs on, and they're also preparing. They've got an auction night to finish off the day on Saturday. So it'll be a big day at Karoonda for the Storm, and I think they'll take the A-grade netball along the way.
All right, and the Southern Suns taking on the Imperials. So the Imperials sitting pretty comfortably on top of the ladder at 10-1 with a healthy percentage. The Suns not too far behind them, 7-4 in 4th place, also with a pretty nice percentage of their own. The Suns, any chance to get the upset win in this one?
Well, I think no. I think Imps will travel nicely. They'll probably complain about how far it is to go out to the Mallee, and then they'll get in the car and arrive and realise it's not too bad after all, and they'll be met with good hospitality. They'll take to the court, and I think Imps will come home with a win. It may be closer than the 23 goals it was last time, but I'm still expecting probably at least about a 15-goal margin for that game.
All right, so that one should be a pretty good game. And then in our last game of the round, Jervois taking on Mannum.
Yeah, I think Mannum will, again, like Imps, they will travel across to Jervois. It was a 17-goal win for Mannum last time. Seeing what I did on the court last week, I think it'll be a bit similar this week. I think 2 home and 2 away winners will be what this round will produce.
All right, and Maipo, of course, have the bye in round 13, so they'll be back in action in round 14, and we'll be previewing that one next week, but we'll leave it there for now. Hannah, thank you very much for coming on to chat again, and we're looking forward to catching up next week. Enjoy the netball this weekend.
Will do, Dan. You have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.